This is Reality Dispatch, written by Jim Mintz.
The algorithms picked it up at through 3:07 hours. The North American Aerospace Command's watch officer in Colorado had his eyes on the screen 11 seconds later. The tail, trajectory, and physics were all consistent with 3 to 6 launches of warheads capable of mass civilian casualties. This was it. He picked up the red phone. It fumbled out of his hand. He raced down to retrieve it and put it back on his ear. He was worried about the president answering while it was still on the floor. The dust on its surface rubbed against his palm, but he didn't have time to think about that now. It rang once, twice. The line wasn't answered for a further 17 seconds. The watch officer looked back at the screen and watched as the attack accelerated over the Pacific. "Hello," came the croaky voice. "Mr. President, we have a confirmed nuclear launch," he said. The script had been etched in black ink on a placard, permanently displayed beneath the phone. The defense secretary and the Joint Chiefs rang in on the second line. All were in bed, conducting the affairs of the fate of the planet in their pajamas, their partners asleep at their sides. "Is this real?" the president asked. "It is confirmed, Mr. President," said Colonel Espinosa. "What are my options?" The bedroom door opened with a crash as the Secret Service aide entered with the football, the briefcase tucked under his arm. The First Lady poked her head in from the adjoining bedroom. "This is classified, ma'am," he said, motioning for her to return to her quarters. He locked the door behind her and proceeded to the president. He unlatched the locks on the briefcase and presented the button. Confirming code launch, he began as he read the NATO phonetic alphabet. "Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Echo, Alpha, Alpha." A general's voice on the line confirmed. "Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Echo, Alpha, Alpha." "The message is authentic, Mr. President," said the Secret Service aide. "I concur," said the general's voice. The president nodded. "What's my time?" he asked. 3 minutes, sir," the general said. "What are my options?" "Counterstrike from the target location. We predict 3 to 4 warheads in the air headed for U.S. soil. You could shoot them down and launch a counteroffensive," he said. "Great, let's do that," the president said, readying his hand to push the button. "The outcome of that could mean a confused counterattack from the Russians," the general warned. "They could perceive our launch as an attack and hit back with a counter." "Why would they do that? Aren't they aware of the launch against us?" the president asked. 2 minutes, said the watch officer from the red line. Maybe not," said the general. "Maybe they're the ones who are firing?" the president asked. Maybe not. "What do you think?" he asked the Secret Service officer holding the briefcase. "Sir, I'm here to present the football, not to provide an opinion on the interpretation of our foes," he said. 1 minute, 30 seconds. "Target is off the Californian coast," said the watch officer. "Launch the counter," the president said. "You must engage the football, sir," said the general. The president leaned over to push the button. "Wait a minute. Am I launching an attack, or am I shooting down the missiles inbound to the U.S.?" the president asked. "You're launching an attack," the general said. "What about the missiles inbound?" 60 seconds, said the watch officer. "Sir, that would require an immediate response, and our window is closing. Any impact will cause civilian casualties," the general explained. "Then do it. Fire them down," the president yelled. "The time taken to do so will have ramifications on a counterstrike against our enemies. They could launch a further attack," the general warned. "Shoot them down," the president shouted. 35 seconds, the watch officer said. "Confirmed, sir," said the general. "Launch countermeasures against the inbound bogies." "Counteroffensive launched, sir," another general confirmed over the phone. The second red phone next to the president's bed rang. He placed the first phone down and answered. "Sir, this is the NORAD Command Center's East Block, confirming the launch of another round of nuclear warheads inbound to the United States. Time to impact, 5 minutes. "Another round?" the president yelled. "Yes, sir." "We need to fire our counter at all sites targeting the United States, sir," the general urged. "We need to strike now." "I agree. Fire everything at the areas striking us," he ordered. "Where are they firing from?" "Somewhere in the mountains of Europe, sir. Not enough intelligence gathered to confirm exactly who is firing," he explained. So it could be perceived as a strike against a European nation? The president asked. Confirmed destruction of warheads, sir, the watch officer said. That's a relief, said the president. 4 minutes to impact from the second round, the watch officer added. Who, or rather, where am I firing our counterstrike? The president yelled. We won't have confirmation until a proper satellite analysis is complete, sir. But to stop further attacks, a strike will be necessary, the generals explained. But we could trigger a nuclear counter from the Russians, the president asked. Correct, sir. But who knows how many more nukes are going to be fired at us today? 3 minutes. The president slammed his palm on the red button at the center of the briefcase. Launch it all, he said. What about the counter to the ones inbound, sir? The generals asked. I give authority for you to shoot down anything that poses a threat, he said. He hung up all the phones and watched as the Secret Service aide closed the briefcase and left the room after a salute. Alone, in the moonlight of the morning mist, he sat on his bed and looked at the wallpaper. The trucks on the east wing, beginning their milk and bread deliveries, were in full swing. They were probably already halfway through their shifts, he thought. He wondered for a brief moment what their working day would be like, what he would give to be faced with their dilemmas instead of his own. He closed his eyes and willed himself to return to sleep. Useless. The door crashed open a moment later. He was surrounded. Sir, we need to escort you to the bunker, they explained. The bunker, he thought. Only in his dreams did this day come to him. A hypothetical, bursting alive mere minutes after his dreams presented a vastly different reality, one he preferred to the one he was currently living in. If only he could remember what he was just dreaming about. Maybe this was it, he prayed. The dream continued. In the steel doors of the surgically gray elevators, he shivered as they took him down to the subterranean levels.
For more stories of fact-based fiction, head to jimmins.substack.com.